Hello, welcome to another short video with Happy Histories with Michael. And we've just moved a few yards from the memorial to the Postmaster General, and now we're actually at Postman's Park because the statue over there is outside the General Post Office here in London. And all of the posties, when they would have their lunch break, they would come to this park here to have their lunch, hence the name Postman's Park. And actually it's a lovely little spot, and in the summer you see all of the office workers coming out here eating their picnics. So let me walk you through and I'll show you the highlights of the park. Actually, just here behind all of these this shrubbery and these lovely plants, you can actually see gravestones, because this park was actually the graveyard to St. Botolph's Church, which I'll show you in a moment. In the mid 1800s, the population of London ballooned, and there was an outrageous cholera epidemic, and one of the causes was the deceased bodies within the city. So all burials had to be made outside of London. And there are lots of little parks like this, which were actually previously graveyards. So anyway, follow me. The loveliest part of the park is just here. This is called the Watts Memorial, or Heroes Wall. And Sir Frederick Watts, Frederick Watts, he was an amazing painter and sculptor, but he had a deep disdain for the aristocracy, who thought they were higher than everybody else. And all over London, of course, we've got memorials to Field Marshal this and Admiral this. And he wrote to the Times and he asked them for, please, can we raise some funds to have a memorial to ordinary common garden people who sacrificed their lives in helping others to live. If his petition fell on deaf ears, and he had to actually do it himself. And here we have it here. So this is a memorial to regular ordinary people who gave their lives to save others. There are about 50 of them here. The latest one was somebody who sacrificed their life in 2007. So this is Lee Pitt. But, you know, the earliest ones are from like the 1870s. And, you know, a lot of these went up then. But there was a huge gap. You can see over there, 1917, nearly 100 years between them. And really, I think that we should have more. It's a tradition we have let die, and it needs to be kind of resurrected. But let me just point out, it's, you know, if you ever come here, you can sit on these benches and reflect on these people's stories. And their stories are very compacted. Over here we have Ernest Benning, compositor, aged 22, and in near Pimlico, his boat overturned. And he was trying to hold on to somebody else and an oar, and when they pulled the girl that he was trying to save out, he sank and he passed away. And there's another one down here. Well, you know, it's all very similar stories, but one of them that I find very, it kind of tickles me here. The person who really put this memorial on the map more recently is this young lady here, Alice Eyre, daughter of a bricklayer's labourer. And, you know, she lost her life saving people from a burning building. But in the early 2000s, there was a film called Closer. And in this film, there was a young lady, and she wanted to kind of reinvent herself. So she'd been here, obviously, and she assumed the name Alice Ayres. She called herself Alice Ayres. And then several people fell in love with her, and there was a bit of a love triangle going on. And one of there's a character played by Jude Law, and he was her lover, but he was very, very jealous. and with one thing or another, she actually disappeared off the scene. And the Jude Lord character was trying to trace her, but he couldn't find any sign of Alice Ayres. And then one day, you know, London being his own town, he wandered across this memorial here, and he sees the name Alice Ayres, and then it dawns on him, you know, Alice Ayres wasn't this lady's name at all. She had assumed this name to bring a new life. So there we go. All of these people have got a memorial to them, and there are countless people who don't have memorials to them. You know, every grave has an amazing story beneath that sod. So anyway, let's meditate on that. Just over here, we have a wooden sculpture, if you like, of Frederick Watt himself. Mind you, saying that he was upset with, you know, the aristocracy and so forth. But strangely enough, one of his most famous sculptures is the statue to Physical Energy, which is in Hyde Park. Huge piece of work. And this was actually to commemorate Cecil Rhodes. Now, the other very interesting thing about this park is this church just over here. This is St. Botolph's Church, and there are 3 surrounding the City of London, because contrary to popular belief, St. Botolph, not St. Christopher, was the patron saint of travellers. So people, when they were leaving the city, they would go to the church and pray for a safe journey. And it's actually a lovely little church, and it's got a pulpit there, very finely worked, chiseled piece of woodwork, and this was made by Thomas Chippendale, and consequently all carpenters have got the nickname Chippy. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a chippy. And there's another memorial in there to the 1800 soldiers from the Post Office Rifles who died in the First World War, because in the First World War they had these PALS regiments, people from particular areas, and the idea was if they fought together they would fight better with their comrades. But unfortunately what it meant was, in some of the battles like the Somme, you know, 50% of villages were wiped out, and had a terrible effect on the morale of the country. But this is a lovely little park, very well worth a visit. So visit us here in Postman's Park. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, please.